Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Today is a big day as I launch my YouTube channel. For all of you who already know me, I don't need to introduce myself. But for others who are watching me for the first time on this social media post and on YouTube channel, it's important for me to share my background and experience so far. I'm Nikunj Dang, and I started my career 22 years back as a banker. In fact, I take great pride in calling myself a born and raised banker, because I spent most of my 22 years of corporate life in the banking sector. I started my career with ICICI Bank back in 2003 and followed by Citibank, and in both of these organizations I was primarily on the lending side. I looked at construction equipment finance and commercial vehicle finance when I was with ICICI Bank, lending to SME clients primarily, and then I moved to Citi. As part of the mortgage lending unit, I was lending to retail customers and SME clients as well. Having done that for 3 years, in 2006, I saw there was a huge digital wave. And within Citi itself, there was an internal job posting for an anti-money laundering compliance officer for the NRI business. Well, in addition to compliance and operations responsibilities, one of the key asks of the role was to design and implement an anti-money laundering compliance platform for the NRI business. So I took up that role and did that for almost a year. And having looked at business, operations, compliance, and tech for almost 4 years in banking industry, I decided to make a move into consulting. I got an opportunity with EY India and moved to Mumbai. I was part of the business advisory and performance improvement practice at Ernst & Young, and I was primarily looking at BFSI clients in India, both from the public sector as well as the private sector. A few clients that I worked with included ICICI Bank as a client this time, Bank of Baroda, Indian Banks Association, to name a few. Did that for almost 2.5 years, and in 2010, I wanted to get exposure to global banking clients, and here was an opportunity for me at Accenture Strategy and Consulting. Joined Accenture in 2010 and stayed with them for almost 14 years. I was part of the Global Strategy and Consulting unit in the banking practice at Accenture. I had the pleasure and the opportunity to work and live in 12 countries across North America, Europe, and Asia Pacific. And those were the days when consulting used to be completely onshore, on-site. In 2019, COVID struck, and I was serving an engagement in Bahrain and moved back to India. And in 2021, I made Managing Director, Accenture Strategy and Consulting for the banking practice. Through these years at Accenture, I picked up various skills. I worked on engagements that involved digital transformation, operational excellence, core banking modernization, human-centric design thinking, innovation advisory, transformation office setups, and of course, data and AI engagements. I also had the opportunity to pick up some valuable certifications. I was certified in design thinking by Luma Institute US. I was certified in cloud advisory by MIT US, and I also picked up a few certifications on my own, like the product management certification from scrum.org and Lean Six Sigma certification from Indian Statistical Institute. So from 2021 onwards, I was managing director with Accenture Strategy, did that for close to 2.5 years. And when I quit Accenture, I was leading a team of 170 strategy and consulting practitioners across 5 locations, including India. A lot of people ask me why I quit Accenture. Well, at that point in time, I saw a lot of things changing. One, the consulting landscape itself was going through a seismic shift. Consulting firms were looking at designing AI products. AI product companies were looking at building consulting capabilities. That was one change that I saw. Secondly, the whole skills landscape was changing. The view that domain, functional, and technical skills would last us a lifetime, that belief was being challenged. I saw the power skills like design thinking, product strategy, operational excellence, the BPR in the age of AI, data interpretation, cybersecurity, machine learning, all of these skills, including prompt engineering, context engineering, these would become very, very important skills of the future that will define how successful we are in the next decade. So future skills enablement was another theme. And then on the other side, I saw the India story. The startup landscape, 140,000 startups in India, driven by the Startup India mission. Almost, I think tens and hundreds of startups were being, were born or were being, sort of taking birth every week. They were raising funds, they were raising private equity, some of them were becoming unicorns and going public. And then we had the small and medium-sized businesses who were also raising money. The SME IPOs were growing. So that whole landscape of the startup ecosystem, as well as the medium-sized businesses, was growing at a tremendous pace. So seeing all of this, I thought that there is an opportunity for these organizations who were looking for professional help to help them achieve that scale growth was definitely a need. So this is all that I was seeing changing from my vantage point back then, and that's when I started Yagnum. Yagnum is a strategic advisory firm and a capability building firm for startups and medium-sized businesses and educational institutions and enterprise professionals looking at exactly solving for these 4 emerging themes that I talked about. And that's when I started Yagnum. So in the next video, I'll talk to you about what Yagnum stands for in terms of its mission, vision, and goals. What are our products and service offerings? And what do we plan to do in the next 5 years? On that note, I will sign off now and see you in the next video. Till then, bye-bye. Ciao.